Hello, YouTubers, and I want to welcome you to another edition of Bargain Bin Gear. I'm your host, guitarist Denis Taaffe. I'm in my home studio B. In other words, my living room. Now, this is an emergency broadcast. Right? Hold the presses, as they say, because there's been a startling development, and it's unbelievable, really. I was quite taken by surprise. And what is that? It's TC Electronics, after a year, has once again released an update for the TC Electronics Plethora X5 pedal. Okay, now those who aren't aware, the TC Electronics Plethora X5, real quick, is basically a pedal, and it's got 5 slots, which creates a board, and they're all different kinds of pedals that are programmed into it that you can select, and there's 128 boards and those kinds of things. Now, it's quite uncanny, really, that they've released another update, because many people were questioning, is this it for the TC Electronics Plethora? We haven't heard anything in a year, right? No updates, no nothing, right? Some people were calling it abandonware. In fact, right, and I'll be the first to eat my words, maybe I spurred them on, but I had remembered that just recently, in fact the day before, right, I left a comment saying, hey, it's kind of hard to, it's a great pedal, great sounding pedal, but it's kind of hard to purchase or recommend this pedal, if there aren't any updates for it, because there were definitely some issues that haven't been addressed. Well, the very next day, guess what? They come out with a new update. So the current version was firmware version 1.2. Now, they've just released version 1.3. Okay? And they've made a lot of changes. Okay, one, they've added a new pedal. It's the Alter Ego Vintage Delay. And I guess Andy, sorry I don't remember the last name, who now works at Reverb, was involved with that and creating tone prints for it and those kinds of things. And let me tell you something, I've tried them, super, really great. Similar to the flashback delay, but definitely goes a little further. Right, it has some really, really cool sounds. Okay, second thing is, they made it sound better. The overall sound of it is better. And I've tried that as well. It's a lot clearer than maybe the version 1.2. You can definitely hear the difference. However, and maybe that's just because I'm used to the 1.2 version, doesn't quite have that charm, if you like, or sound of the version 1.2, which I really liked. Okay, so that's another thing. Now, they did address one major issue, and that was the delay times, in the sense of turning on the, changing the pedal the boards, if you like, right? There's 128 boards. You flick a switch to change the board or do it via MIDI. And it would take a long time, so they've sped that up as well. Then they've also done some things like the hot knobs. Now there's a little display, when you change the knob settings. I'm trying to think of what else. I guess they did something with the expression pedal, volume pedal. Made that a lot more robust, I guess. And then some other bug fixes and things that I'm not even aware of. Okay. So, man, when they announced that this morning, I was like, wow! Out of nowhere, here it is. Okay. Biggest thing overall is that they're not abandoning the TC Electronics Plethora. And they have been working on an update, which is great. Okay. So, I hurriedly loaded it up. Alright? Updated the firmware on my Plethora X5 from version 1.2 to the new one, which is 1.3.6, something like that, I think. And updated, no problems, very simple. However, when my first user board came up, right, I was like, wait a minute, what is this? Right? There are 5 slots, and you can take a look at it here. Alright, now this is what I got after I ran the update. Take a look. So there's Octaver, yes. Delay from the flashback, yes. Reverb, yes. Reverb, yes. What? What is this? It's freaking empty. Okay, now, and when I go to try to add the looper, over here, well, what is this? It's all grayed out. Can't add it. Right? The only thing I could add is a freaking tap tremolo. Oh, gee, thanks. I don't think so. So that's not going to work for me. But watch this. If I do one of these. Okay, now I've switched the reverb and the delay, right? Okay. See this? Now it's a octaver, reverb, delay, reverb, and it's empty, but watch. And now look. Octaver, reverb, delay, reverb, looper. There we go. So that's very unusual. So anyway, it's very similar to the version 1.2, except that the order of the pedals cannot be octaver, delay, reverb, reverb, looper. It has to be octaver, reverb, delay, reverb, looper. So it kind of changes the sound because of the order of the pedals. Bizarre. So I was kind of like, now wait a minute. So let me get this right. I update it, but I lose an entire effect slot instead of 5 pedals. I only get 4? What? No way. Now, interestingly enough, obviously the update took some memory or something. I don't know. Or maybe this is a bug, I don't know. But listen, I'm used to using 2 reverbs on the Plethora, at least with version 1.2. In other words, I'd use 2 slots, right? To get the reverb sound I wanted, right? So that's taking up a lot of DSP power. That would still leave me a slot for an octaver, a delay, and a looper. Now with version 1.3, in that configuration, it just chops off the looper. No looper slot, right? The way I had it configured, and I was going, now wait a minute, what is this? What's going on here? So I kind of messed with it a little while and thought, well, this just can't be right. And as it turns out, strangely enough, I actually, the delay that I had in slot 2, right, well, I swapped it so that the reverbs weren't in slot 3 and 4, but were instead in slot 2 and 4. And then the delay in the middle, and guess what? Well, all of a sudden, slot 5 had the looper again. Now that is very, very strange. Right? I mean, what's the story there exactly? And that I've yet to work out. In a way, I was very pleased, though, because I was back to having my 5 favorite effects, 2 reverbs, an octaver, a delay, and a looper. Right? Because I certainly wasn't going to update it if I only got, 4 effects instead of 5. Now, keep in mind, on other boards where I'm only using 1 reverb, they work just fine, regardless, So I don't know what that, maybe that's just a bug or something, I don't know. But for some reason, this is what happened. So here's the difference, I guess, for me anyway. And that is that basically instead of having the delay and then the 2 reverbs, and then the looper, instead I have 1 reverb, then a delay, then another reverb, and then the looper. Does it affect the sound? A little bit. A little bit. It does a little bit. However, what I do gain is a higher fidelity, and also I can put in that alter ego delay or what have you, in that slot between the reverbs. Very interesting. So anyway, now keep in mind, there's no cost to this update. So really, it's a real gift from TC Electronics for Plethora users, and very much appreciated. Now, I guess what we should do is take a listen to it, and for me personally, I like the idea that I can go back, and I've done this a couple times, to go back to version 1.2, which is really a different sound, surprisingly. And with all of its faults, it works great for me. Version 1.3 is very new, sounds different, and definitely kind of a different setup, but adds some features and things. Now, the one thing that they still have not addressed, and they really need to do that, and I think people are waiting for that, is MIDI clock sync. Right? They really have to work on that. And also syncing of the looper and things. Another thing that really kind of bugs me is they say, oh yeah, well you can set the delays to beats per minute or milliseconds, right? And there is a setting for that. However, when you're actually editing the delay, it's still showing up in milliseconds. Right? When that could also, should show in beats per minute if you want it to, and it doesn't do that. So those are the two issues for me yet. And that weird, order of the pedals. For some reason, you can't put the two reverbs after the delay for some reason. Whereas in version 1.2, you were able to do that. But then you lose, in version 1.2, you lose the extra fidelity and no alter ego vintage delay, and all the other stuff they added. But the weird thing is that you can actually, a firmware update on this particular pedal is very, very simple. You basically just drop a file and it's basically done. So I suppose you could switch between the two whenever you wanted to. Very interesting. So let's take a listen to it. Now here's with the Plethora effects off, okay? Sounds like this. So let's just turn on one of the reverbs here. This is version 1.3 update. Sounds okay. But now add in the other reverb, and now all of a sudden you get... the delay to that, then you get a really kind of ambient. And then you've got the looper too. And then you've got that octaver. Creating a loop here. this is the with the looper. Okay, so that's version 1.3, and let's focus on the delay here. I'm just curious. So this is just a flashback standard delay kind of deal. Okay, and let's do this. Instead, we're going to switch it to that the new pedal, if I can find it here. And it's the Alter Ego Vintage Echo. I called it a delay, but that's really kind of what it is. And the default for that, it just sounds like this. And we can go to some of the tone prints here. Right? All kinds of different sounds here. Whatever is really vintagey. Let's find a cool one though. Copycat. Let's try that. Okay, let's go to some of the cool ones. Now these are all the different kinds of tone prints that are on here. Let's try some of that. Reverbs back in, we get a totally different kind of delay sound here. So I got the feet up back a little too high there. Okay, so that's pretty cool, and we can I'll make a loop out of that with this setting basically. Oops, I think I killed it. Okay, so definitely so I mean, it definitely has possibilities here, and I mean we can switch to. Let's just switch to another board here, like just a standard kind of board. Two reverbs and a flashback delay. Now, I also heard that they switched over some of the like the vicious vibe, right? Let's try some of the tone prints there. There's classic type. Flanged Univibe. Let's try some others. Hollow Leslie. Phase hugger. Okay. So I've switched it here back to the vintage echo because there's some really, really nice things. Now here's an Echoplex. Let's take a listen to that. Here's a reverse modulation. So there I can tell, definitely it has a more of a kind of hi-fi-ish kind of sound to it in the new version. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and reload the original version 1.2, and we'll basically play a very similar loop and see if there's a difference in sound. Alright, now we're back to version 1.2, Octaverb, delay, reverb, looper. And the one thing to notice here is that the delay comes before the two reverbs, and you still have the looper. So I really like that sound. So let's try it. So we can do a comparison here. So basically, they really do sound different, to me anyway. And maybe that's just my playing experience, when I'm playing it. I'm not sure. I like the alter ego and I like the new sounds and things. And it's probably something I just need to get used to as well. However, I'm really partial to the version 1.2 for some reason, I don't think it sounds quite as hi-fi as the other, but I really like it. Remains to be seen. I don't know. And I love the fact that you're able to, I can reload 1.3 if I want to, It'll be very interesting to take a look at this footage and hear the difference, maybe it's just my imagination. I don't think so, though. And I think that the issue of the two reverbs before the delay, for most people won't even be noticed at all, because as I said, it works fine with other settings, and you can still fill up all 5 slots. So very interesting, and overall I'm very pleased that they are continuing to support the Plethora X5. And hopefully there'll be another update to address the MIDI sync issues. Wouldn't that be something? Definitely a worthwhile update, makes the Plethora all that much more powerful. And for me, chances are I'll probably go with the version 1.3, but I still very much like the version 1.2. It's almost like two different pedals in a way, surprisingly. Alright, well anyway, very exciting news. Did not expect that. So it's been a year, but they've done it. They've included an update with the Plethora X5. Super. Alright, see you next time. Bye.